Imagine, if you will, you're a 16-year-old player in an Ontario Midget League, and you find out that you've been drafted into the NHL by, of all people, the Montreal Canadiens. Now, Paul Reid doesn't ring a bell for a lot of people, but he was eventually traded by Montreal to Boston for, of all people, as part of a deal for Ken Dryden. Now, the right winger attended Frontenac Secondary School in Kingston, Ontario, and had played, again, the Ontario Midget League for Kingston. He was eventually traded after being drafted in the third round, 18 overall, with Guy Allen to Boston in exchange for Ken Dryden and Alex Campbell, 17 days after the draft on June 28, 1964. Now, he attended Niagara Falls training camp in the fall of '64, but the Bruins organization shifted him to Oshawa roughly 2 weeks after sending him to Niagara Falls. Now, he played there for a while. He scored 5 goals in his first Junior B game with the Whitby Dunlops. And he also attended Toledo's IHL training camp in the fall of '68, but did not make the team's roster. Now, post-draft, he played with Oshawa of the OHA and Whitby and Kingston of the OHA Junior B League. Now, after his retirement from hockey, he went to work for the city of Kingston after his career ended in 1968. He eventually rose to the supervisor of the city's water and sewer department, retiring in 2005. Now, the younger brother of former minor leaguer Ron Reid didn't know he was traded for Ken Dryden until 40 years later. Now, according to published reports, the trade, one of the most famous in NHL history, was Sam Pollock's first as the Canadiens GM. Ironically, Reid never heard about the trade and just assumed he had been drafted by Boston. The only team that ever contacted him invited him to a major junior team's training camp. Now, it wasn't until nearly 40 years later, in 2002, that he was informed by some fans that he was, in fact, drafted by Montreal and traded for Ken Dryden. Now, just a little bit of background on the Dryden deal. Dryden was taken in the third round and 14 overall from Etobicoke of the OHA Junior B League. Now, he had played in the Etobicoke-based Humber Valley Minor Hockey Organization for a while, and he had notified scouts and others of his decision to earn a college degree long before the draft, thereby delaying his NHL availability until at least the 1970 season. Now, as it played out, Dryden said again in published reports that he had no idea that Boston had drafted him at the first until, it was cleared up to him several years later. Now, NCAA title winner again in '67, but again the deal was stands out for one reason. Again, Alex Campbell, Ken Dryden to Montreal for Guy Allen and Paul Reid, June 28, 1964. So again, a very bizarre set of circumstances, and like Ken Dryden once said about the deal, we were just young prospects. We didn't know what the future held, and it just happened. He said, I kind of lucked out and ended up having my dreams of university play and a college degree come true, and with the Habs as well. So that's the interesting story about one side of the Ken Dryden trade. If you like what we're doing here, give us a like, comment, or subscribe. If you're a Ken Dryden fan, just remember, we all got to start someplace. Have a good day. Bye.